The global financial landscape is undergoing unprecedented change. For decades, the US dollar has dominated global finance, underpinning international trade and serving as the world's reserve currency. Today, however, that dominance faces significant challenges. In this episode of the Watchtower Report, we explore the decline of dollar dominance and examine the emerging alternatives shaping a new financial order. The foundations and current decline. Since the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944, the US dollar has been central to global finance. Initially backed by gold and later cemented by agreements such as the petrodollar arrangement, the dollar has been the primary reserve currency for global trade, energy transactions, and central bank reserves. Today, around 60% of global reserves are still held in dollars. Yet the strength of this dominance is now increasingly questioned. Several factors are driving nations to reconsider their reliance on the dollar. Geopolitical tensions, trade disputes, and U.S. economic policies have created significant concerns among global players. Countries that previously depended on the dollar are now seeking alternatives, fearing vulnerability to political decisions made in Washington. The weaponization of the dollar, one critical factor accelerating the shift away from the dollar, is its increasing use as a geopolitical tool. Often referred to as the weaponization of the dollar, the U.S. has frequently imposed economic sanctions, leveraging its control over international financial networks to exert pressure on geopolitical rivals. In 2022, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the U.S. and its allies excluded major Russian banks from the SWIFT international payment system, effectively freezing Russian assets held abroad. While intended as a strong response, this move sent shockwaves around the world. The message was clear: if the U.S. can freeze Russia's financial assets, it can freeze anyone's. Russia is far from alone. Countries like Venezuela, Iran, and Cuba have faced devastating U.S. sanctions, crippling their economies. The weaponization of the dollar has made other nations wary, prompting them to seek alternative financial systems to safeguard their economic sovereignty. The rise of BRICS Plus and de-dollarization. In response, a powerful movement towards financial independence has emerged, led by the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Recently, this coalition has expanded significantly, attracting interest from nations like Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and many others, collectively known as BRICS+. BRICS+ countries are actively working towards reducing their reliance on the dollar. They've implemented agreements to trade in local currencies, bypassing the dollar altogether. Russia and China in particular have spearheaded this trend, establishing bilateral currency swap agreements with numerous countries in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. However, de-dollarization is not simply about currency swaps. It involves creating alternative financial infrastructures. One prominent example is the New Development Bank, launched by BRICS to finance infrastructure and development projects without imposing stringent conditions like those from Western-dominated institutions such as the IMF and World Bank. China's Belt and Road Initiative further exemplifies this shift, reshaping global trade routes and facilitating financial interactions outside the US dollar-dominated framework. These efforts collectively signal a profound shift towards a multipolar financial system. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. As BRICS Plus reshapes geopolitical financial dynamics, another revolutionary change is unfolding. Central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. China has already launched its digital yuan, used extensively in pilot programs across major cities. CBDCs offer governments unprecedented control and oversight over their monetary systems, enabling efficient, secure, and instantaneous transactions without relying on the dollar-based international settlement systems. The digital yuan is just the beginning. The European Union, Japan, India, and even the United States are actively exploring or testing their own CBDCs. This technology could fundamentally reshape global finance, dramatically reducing dependency on traditional currencies like the dollar. ISO 2022 and cryptocurrency integration. Simultaneously, another transformation is underway. Digital assets and cryptocurrencies compliant with ISO 2022 standards are rising. ISO 2022 is a global financial messaging standard designed to streamline transactions and communication among financial institutions worldwide. Cryptocurrencies such as XRP, XLM, and HBAR, compliant with ISO 2022, are being integrated into banking infrastructures, offering rapid, secure, and cost-effective international payments. As financial institutions increasingly adopt these technologies, traditional reliance on the dollar diminishes. In a future marked by interoperability and decentralized finance, these digital assets could form the backbone of a global financial system less susceptible to political weaponization. Regional financial alternatives. Further accelerating the shift away from dollar dominance is the rise of regional financial systems. The European Union's INSTEX mechanism, designed explicitly to circumvent U.S. sanctions on Iran, showcases Europe's desire for financial autonomy. In Africa and Asia, similar initiatives are underway, promoting local currency settlements and establishing regional trade blocs independent of the dollar. These regional frameworks reduce exposure to Western economic pressures and allow countries to assert greater control over their financial destinies. A multi-currency future. So what exactly will replace the dollar? The reality is likely not a single currency, but a diverse and interconnected financial ecosystem. This multipolar system may include digital currencies like China's yuan, robust regional currencies, BRICS-backed settlement systems, and compliant digital assets. The decline of dollar dominance doesn't imply immediate economic collapse for the U.S., but it does herald the end of its singular financial hegemony. A new world order is emerging, multipolar, decentralized, and interconnected. The emerging financial order. As the world moves beyond dollar dominance, nations gain greater economic sovereignty, but the financial landscape will become increasingly fragmented and competitive. The balance of power is shifting, signaling profound geopolitical implications. Understanding these shifts is essential, not just for policymakers and institutions, but for everyone impacted by global economics. We stand at the cusp of a transformative era in global finance, and the changes we see today will shape the world for decades to come. Thank you for watching the Watchtower Report. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay informed on the critical geopolitical and financial issues shaping our future.